In all of the Rivals discussions around oppressive, overtuned, and overpowered abilities, a character you'll never hear about is Black Widow. And in fact, the Romanoff name has been rather tainted in recent.
Widow has been
like, shut the fuck
I'm
up.
throwing statement since the launch of the game.
And we're still gonna play Widow.
I need this for my college. I have about 6 or 7 more years.
Ugh. Now, while this usually would be a good thing for the game's sniper, an archetype that often just feels unfair, Black Widow is nowhere near that end of the spectrum. My name is Caraxa, and today I'll be looking into what ideas we can add to bring her up to par without pushing into that fully broken territory. It's time for a Rivals rewrite. Was that too corny? God, I hope that wasn't too corny. Since this is a Widow rework video, it only makes sense that I would start by discussing Hawkeye. No, really. He's the other main sniper in the game, and together with Widow, they form a sort of friendly rivalry. Sorry, no three ways.
Why bother?
Despite the intended dynamic though, it's always been the case that Hawkeye is just better. I'd say that's due to actually having one-shot potential, but even further, his kit just allows for more flexibility, be it obvious things like his additional attacks to more subtle ones like his deflect, his double jump going higher, not needing to reload. Different trade-offs are to be expected between kits, yet still, these two aren't even close to the same level. If I'm going to fix Widow, I want to touch on Hawkeye first. I'm not going to take his tools, but what I definitely do not like is his passive ability, Archer's Focus. It doesn't not make sense to me. However, considering he can hold focus charge from one enemy and use it to one-shot another, yeah.
I earned that one.
No. At that point, the whole concept falls apart. You might as well just give him Widow's Kiss. This ability is going to be removed and reworked for Widow, but I don't want to leave a guy hanging, so for a replacement, he'll be given Archer's Ego. This would work almost the same, except instead of just aiming at a character, it would be directly related to the accuracy of his shots. Landing hits increases the charge and subsequently the damage. Max charge is when his critical would have one-shot potential. If we want to be really nice, maybe if you land a critical hit at full charge, you can reserve said charge for one more shot. But I don't know, I'm on the fence. Overall, I think this not only is very fitting of the character, works well with his ultimate, but most importantly, it demands skill of the player while equally rewarding it. This is not something that can be said about Black Widow's current moveset. Oh yeah, this video is about Widow, isn't it? Alright, so what are the core issues with Natasha's kit? Of course, there's the eternal sniper problem that we'll address with the borrowed passive from Hawkeye. Along with that, Black Widow's ultimate could have some added versatility. As far as I can tell, it's mainly used as an up-close kill confirm, which is insane. Last but not least, there's one very notable ability that somehow is entirely missing, which is what we'll be starting with. Plasma Stinger. Black Widow's gauntlets, besides other notable pairs, are without a doubt her defining weapon. And while it's hard to include everything a character is known for, I'd argue there's plenty of room in her kit. Before I can fully explain how the stingers work, I want to explain how this ability wouldn't just be a new cooldown, and instead something you have to charge. In doing this, we can actually inject some needed utility into something that's never been useful. Her batons. Everything about the batons is bad. It has a minimum distance for a melee attack. The current move description claims they're enhanced with electricity, yet it has no secondary effects. They have also never been changed. That ends today. Taking inspiration from the other super soldier, Captain America, I'm tying the generation of plasma stingers to her melee combo. One 3-strike combo equals 3 stingers, or 1 charge. Unlike Steve, however, Widow's charge wouldn't expire, and I'd also let her have 2 of these charges for 6 stingers total. The main effect of the move wouldn't be damage, but instead status. Slowing enemies hit and inflicting a delayed damageless stun if you land all 3 on a single target. This effect is fairly similar to Winter Soldier's Tainted Voltage, and oh dear, I really have stolen from 3 other characters now, haven't I? Well, I'll be the first to call out that argument against this rework, though two things to consider. When I was originally brainstorming, looking at effects and moves already present was very intentional, as the in-game point of reference I think serves as the best example to why something wouldn't be inherently or conceptually broken. This definitely isn't the last time my reworks will be seen mirroring existing abilities. Secondly, I'd like to think these characters having similar moves serves more to give cohesion to them instead of just being copy-paste. All of these characters are among the least superpowered, so having their kits overlap is kind of a reflection for that. Or maybe I'm just a coping fraud who can't come up with their own ideas. Please tell me what you think down below. Moving on. With all of that set up, at last I can reveal how Plasma Stinger wouldn't just be a new attack, but actually is her ticket to one-shots. While scoped in, Black Widow can utilize one of her Plasma Stinger charges, which activates Plasma Sniper. This changes the UI and allows her rifle to begin charging power based on the amount of opponents in her reticle. The fewer heads and more focused her aim, the faster charge is gained. When designing the UI, I did try to leave space for a percentage indicator like Hawkeye, but also wanted it to be visually distinct enough to just infer while playing. Also, see my sneaky logo? It really is my passion, folks. Now, once activated, each of her plasma charges only remains stable for a set duration, meaning if you reposition after activating the ability, it's possible they could run out before you get another good angle. Finally, due to the dynamic state of Black Widow's sniping, I wanted to add a visual indicator for when she might one-shot you. In comes the final hero I'm stealing from, along with this seemingly unused UI detail I noticed in her hero splash page. I do understand it's not much in the grand scheme of Rival's visual clarity, but at least you might have a chance to notice. Before moving on, let's touch on why, in creating this, I felt the need to mess with Hawkeye at all. Besides trying to avoid excessive overlap, the way Archer's focus works, holding steady aim on a target and shooting at the right moment, just seems more befitting of a scope sniper. I think this idea is decently shown in the other Widow meat of Overwatch, but even then, the charge is kind of an arbitrary dampener. It seems, at least for hero shooters, one-shots need additional axes not to creep into the conceptually broken territory. Current Hawkeye doesn't do too bad at this, having his aim, travel time, and especially arching trajectory to consider all at once. Where it becomes an issue to me is when a character in supposedly the same archetype doesn't compare in the slightest. It's clear from Widow's reveal gameplay that she was intended to be a one-shot, one-kill type, but knowing what we know now, she's really a custodian cleanup crew with her kills. Noble work, sure, but far less than what Natasha is capable of. Now, a one-shot conditional is a great addition for Widow's kit, and you probably could stop there, but I do think the rest of her moveset is needlessly weak. So here's some tweaks. With her ultimate, the plan here is increasing utility and especially consistency. As it stands, Electroplasma Explosion at best can seal kills in a small area of enemies, and at worst, be hardly even noticeable. As much as it pains me, I really can't understand why it's used as a close range confirm. So, what to change? First, I want to convert the attack from a single hit AoE into a traversing projectile that continually drops globs as it flies. Yes, they really are called globs. Doing this does narrow the area Widow can affect, but in exchange gives the player a heck ton more intentionality. I mean, if we wanted things to be random, which the current ultimate definitely is, Widow is the wrong redhead. In addition to this huge change, I'm also accounting for when the projectile hits a surface, like a wall or the ground. Rivals stays loving their circles, so in these cases, the plasma globs would be distributed in a loosely set circle, being spread radially at minimum charge and spreading more evenly at maximum charge. Same idea for hitting a surface after traversing, just using whatever math is needed to determine how many globs would be left. The damage would need to be lowered, but I think doing so could allow for a greater slowing effect. Maybe the longer you stand in Widow's goo, the greater the slow becomes. Thinking about the exchange of damage and utility, if it's used at point blank range, little to no plasma should drop. You can't have it being too good. All right, we have covered a lot. So while I still have thoughts on her other moves, I don't want to just yap needlessly. There's also 2 other topics with far more importance, but quickly, here are just some changes I think would be nice for her other abilities and really just help them be less unforgiving, especially on Edge Dancer. Oof, 15-second cooldown. On Whiff? Egregious. Again, these are just ideas. I don't think all of these need to happen, but any one of them would be a good addition to the respective move. Getting to those 2 other things I mentioned, neither are all that important compared to the concept I've already discussed, and only one has relevance when it comes to gameplay, which is actually what I'll start with. Her hair!
Oh my goodness!
Okay, fine, I just lied to you. It's actually damage numbers, but oh my god, her hair! It sucks!
It was bad for her.
Deep breathing. Deep
It was really bad for her.
breathing. I can no longer remain silent on this issue. Looking at the model, I think the main problem is its stiffness. Her hair has 0 movement, to the point where it looks gelled, sculptural even. In a different rework, I could make throwing it one of her new attacks. Beyond movement, it just doesn't flow with her design. When I say flow, I'm more referring to the shape language, as opposed to literal boning. Yes, technically the hair has boning and does move, but it also floats much higher than I think anyone would expect or want, frankly. I've taken the liberty to create some artistic interpretations of what I think would look better. I'm not worried on whether it's asymmetrical. I don't think it has to be inherently short or long or a specific texture, just less I want to speak to the manager levels of hairspray. Whew, that has been bottled up since launch. So, about those damage numbers. I'm sure someone who didn't make it this far into the video might point out, adding these ideas with the damage Widow currently does is kinda useless, and they would be right. While I could have discussed this earlier, I more so wanted to focus on the concept overall. These are the numbers I'd start with if my ideas were implemented. Really, the important number is that of her primary fire / sniper rifle. Without reducing the base level damage, the addition of plasma sniper quite literally doesn't have room to breathe. While yes, the stingers themselves do 10 damage, this isn't just about getting Widow over the 250 threshold, but more about creating a goal and challenge for the player. You'll also notice I nerfed how much additional damage Hawkeye's new passive allows him. The intention there is to create a level of predictability with one-shot heroes. For both of them, the base max damage is capped at 290. This allows the player on the other end to know how much danger they're in, and allowing for counterplay that goes beyond just triple tank. Rivals has plenty of 300 plus DPS heroes, and being able to deny snipers their one-shots without just killing them first, pretty important, I think. Wow, that was far too long in the making. I am recording this just after finishing up the final edit, as I put up air quotes. And I guess to give some perspective, I started this project file in April, but actually, wait, what did I just open? Oops. Oh no, how did I just open Resolve? Whatever. The first time I started drafting up a script for this video was February 22nd of 2025. So yeah, a little slow, but how did I do? Have you even made it this far into the video? If you did, thank you so much. I hope it doesn't take me nearly this long in the future, because there are still far too many ideas banging around in my old noggin. If you enjoyed it, thank you so much. Subscribe or something for more. Check me out on Twitch. I try to stream Rivals every Friday with the update, because cosmetics, gotta get my gooning in. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. So, happy birthday! We're going with it. That's it. Fuck this shit.